This is your weekly go-to award-winning car talk show in wheel time. Just ahead, we're going to take a peek into this week in automotive history, fresh off the teletype. We're also going to have automotive stories making news headlines, and howdy to you. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars and King Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us on this Saturday.
The Blue Man Group.
Yeah, and we I swear we didn't talk to each other. We're going to wear a blue shirt today. No, we didn't do that. So
Should have. We'd have gotten one different color in here somewhere.
Well, at least I think. Am I the only one that's wearing different color? No, you and I have the same colored gray
but Mars
pants
doesn't
on.
have any pants on at all.
Do you have to tell people that? You know, we try to
stand up, Mike.
Please don't stand up again. We were. I actually had Facebook go. No, we're not going to do that. Not going to allow that.
Hi, Gina. She just checked in.
Yeah. Well, Gina, thank you very much. Gina Sheldknowles? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So big race tonight out there at Houston Motorsports Park. Okay. So, I wanted to mention, you were talking about the Big Go, which is, it's everybody says, it's the Super Bowl of this or it's the Super Bowl of that. No, it's not. It's not. It is the big race for NHRA drag racing. It'll be on television this weekend. They had the first round of qualifying yesterday. And so I wanted to give you a little kind of a rundown.
Good.
So in Top Fuel, qualified number one is Sean Langdon at 313.22 miles an hour.
And we've had Sean on the show.
We have.
When we were out there.
Very nice guy. And I met him before he got into that aspect of the drag racing. And just a super nice guy. Mm-hmm. And then he bumped on up, and boy, he had a rocky road getting started. And he started in funny cars, and let me tell you, that short wheelbase with all that horsepower, that is really difficult to manhandle that down the track, especially if you're not used to it. Then he drove top alcohol funny cars beforehand, which is close, but no cigar. And so he did the quarter mile in 3.728 seconds.
Wow.
And actually, the quarter mile is really 1,000 feet for the top fuel car. So funny car. Ron Capps, with his Dodge Charger, did the 1,000 feet in 3.895 seconds at 330.63
And
miles.
Capps drives the Napa car.
The Napa car. Mm-hmm. Pro Stock,
Erica.
Greg Anderson.
Yeah. We've had Greg on the show as well.
You do realize that there are some Greg Anderson fans.
I was a Greg Anderson fan back when he actually used to tune for Warren Johnson.
Yes.
Greg Anderson was Warren Johnson's
and stole
friend
all the secrets?
For years. Well, I don't know if he stole all the secrets. I think he created a lot of the secrets. Warren was a genius, and Greg was his right-hand man for years.
Erica Enders, she, local girl, done good.
Houston girl.
She's in the middle of the pack. She's qualified 8th, but there's still another round for qualifying.
Well, she has to come on the show eventually.
No, she doesn't.
Yes, she does.
Pro Stock Motorcycle, Angie Smith in an EBR. Do you have any clue what an EBR is? I don't know what it is either. EBR. Maybe something to look up. Apparently, it's not a Harley-Davidson, and it's not a Suzuki, but it's an EBR.
I'll look it up and find out.
I don't know. EBR. We'll figure it out. Anyway, a quarter mile for that class, 6.807 seconds at 197 miles an hour on 2 wheels.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. I don't need that.
That's fast in a car, much less 2 wheels.
Yeah, it's scary.
And you got to think the first eighth of a mile, the front wheel's not on the ground.
Correct. Well, of course, the slick on the back of it is as wide as a car.
The bike could just about stand up on its own.
Well, it pretty much does.
Putting your feet down.
But, have you ever seen those wrecks? When the driver falls off at almost 200 miles an hour?
I was out at Baytown. This is 88, 89, when Dave Schultz wrecked his. And Dave Schultz was a very famous pro stock motorcycle rider. And literally, the bike got a wobble, and when you saw the video, I just kind of saw the tumble and dust. But when you saw the video, he pulled his leg over and stepped off the bike at the going through the lights, because the bike got that wobble, and he literally pulled his leg off, stepped off the bike, and slid on that and got up and walked away. and probably went down at about 170, 180 miles an hour.
And they walked away. And while we're on the subject of television, crazy television shows like that, I have to tell you that probably one of the most entertaining shows that I watch is a thing called Whacked Out Sports.
Yes, I watch it.
And every once in a while, they'll have some sort of an automotive thing in there. Is this the EBR? Thank you, Jeff Zekin. Oh, a Buell.
Okay.
Eric Buell Racing is an American motorcycle sport company.
And Buell is a derivative of a Harley Davidson.
Based in East Troy, Wisconsin. Well, Wisconsin, there you go. Eric Buell Racing, EBR. So apparently he's building his own motorcycles, and they call them EBRs.
Mm-hmm. No, why would you?
All right, well,
why would you give anybody else's name to it?
Well, you think of something like Caterpillar Racing or something other than.
Well, with the deal he had with Harley Davidson, they've got the rights to the Buell name, and so he can't.
What is a
use
Buell?
that.
I never really knew what a Buell was.
A Buell is to Harley Davidson what AMG is to Mercedes.
Yes.
Eric Buell built modified.
Can I go
Harley
down to
Davidson.
the Harley store and buy me a Buell?
Yes. And generally the
And
Buell,
why? What are they, like twice as expensive? And
No,
why would
no,
I do
no,
that?
But it's more of a. I think it's built on a Sportster frame.
it's more of a sport bike than it is
like a Harley Cruiser, like
right.
you would typically think of with Harley Davidson.
And one of the things about the Buell though too is it's not it's a lightweight bike, so it has the engine is a stressed member of the chassis, so it
Okay.
doesn't have the loops on the bottom. It's
The engine's part of the chassis.
right.
Right.
So again, that's all trying to take weight out of the bike. But this is more of a sport bike, like a Suzuki Kawasaki kind of a
Like they
motorcycle.
used them on the road courses.
Right.
That was their.
But
entry.
is it a four-cycle or a
Yeah,
two-cycle?
no, it's a four-cycle.
It's a four-cycle engine.
It's a V-twin Harley.
So they used the big Harley bikes on the drag strip, and this was what they put on the road courses.
Water-cooled. Generally, I think they're all water-cooled.
I think so. I'm not that familiar with
But
them.
you're
I
also
just-
talking about bike for bike. This probably is 400 pounds lighter than a Harley because, again, it's a lean-forward sport bike, not a ride-back, a lean-back cruiser.
Well,
But I would say Buells are to Harley what AMG is to Mercedes.
interesting. Well, I'm not a big motorcycle. I've owned probably a half dozen motorcycles, and based on my current employment and from what I have seen, I could think of other ways to die, and I've seen a lot of death.
I
in motorcycles.
have never ridden a motorcycle that I cannot wreck.
I've ridden a bunch of them, and one of them I have a permanent limp from my wreck in 1981.
Yeah, I didn't realize until I've seen some horrible things from the air and shooting pictures of motorcycle accidents
Bits
and
and
people.
pieces.
Yeah, motorcycle. Yeah, it's just really ugly. And you think
Much less in Houston where traffic is nuts anyhow.
why is it that? Why is that? Have you ever seen an airplane coming towards you, flying? You ever seen it? Without the lights on, it's almost impossible to see because it's made to go through the air.
Oh, okay.
With little resistance.
Greatest of ease, yeah.
With a little resistance. So that's why they're kind of pointy in the nose and the wings are real thin.
Yeah, but I think you
If
kind
you
of
see an
scared to death if you see an airplane coming at you.
Well,
because
it's
you don't
really
have
no
time to
difference with a motorcycle, and you can do this by watching. And if you're standing, if there's any kind of sun has a real issue making you really aware of what's going on, depending on where the sun is in the sky. And you see a motorcycle coming at you without its headlights on, it is like a pencil coming down the road.
Yeah. And you as a vehicle, as a truck or a car driver, have to try and be very aware of motorcycles around you.
You do.
And motorcycle riders, I think, have to be aware of the cars and trucks, and sometimes they're not. They should never drive in your blind spot if they can't see. My practice was if I couldn't see you in the mirrors, I would always move so I could see you in the mirror. Same with big tractor trailers and stuff. But I was young and dumb at the time. I was in my 20s.
But a lot of them think they own the road. By
Right.
golly, I'm a motorcycle and I'm in this lane. By golly, I got it. Well,
my philosophy is I would be going so fast it didn't matter what you did. It was behind me.
Well, I have to tell you that I use the South Sam Houston Tollway a lot, and it never fails at least once a week. Here's a motorcycle coming up that's passing me. I can hear it just before it passes me doing 100 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
I like it whenever they're on one wheel, too, when they do that.
When the closing rate is that fast, the driver can't see that motorcycle coming up that fast, and it's very easy to change lanes and right into the path of the motorcycle. And I've seen some pretty ugly things happen when the motorcycle runs into the back of a car because he's already committed.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And the motorcycle can never win against a car or a truck.
So one of the kids that my son grew up with, they're literally 2 houses down. One of them, he got into the Kawasaki's, the hot rods and stuff. And they figure whenever he went to slide around that Suburban at 2 o'clock in the morning, they figure he was doing about 110 and didn't quite get over in the other lane. He clipped that left rear tail light, literally, of the Suburban he was trying to go around. And
didn't survive.
Oh, no, nothing. But, I mean, he was just going so fast. And he just made the slightest misjudgment, and it was all over.
My motorcycle wreck was at about 35 miles an hour. Drunk ran a stop sign, and my choice was to T-bone him or try and sneak around the front. So I'd kind of lean the bike down trying to sneak around the front, and he never lifted. And I was 2.5 years out of work recovering from that after 7 surgeries.
And you still walk with a limp.
Still, yeah, and I have never even sat on a motorcycle since, because to be honest with you, it's a drug. The rush of the acceleration rush, and I've driven some
wind.
I've driven some fast cars, and I enjoy that. The motorcycle was like a drug. I would get on it, and I would be pretty out of control most of the time, and that's not when I went down. I went down pulling into my subdivision.
Yeah. Well, actually, I have a very unique little thing that I want to share with you. We need to take a quick break. And then as soon as we come back from the break, I want to share this with you. So I invite you to stay tuned because it's going to be good.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
It's your All Things Automotive Weekly Car Talk Show in Wheel Time. A reminder that we are live on the In Wheel Time website, on YouTube, and on Facebook each week and every Saturday, 10 a.m. to noon Central Time. And we thank you for joining us today. Well, I finally got a response from Craftsman, guaranteed forever, made in the USA, about my complaint with the torque wrench. And just to show you, there's the letter. Yeah, right there. There's the letter, and there's the logo.
Official letterhead.
Official letterhead. Dated August 31st, 2020. Don Armstrong in Wheel Time, Houston, Texas, regarding warranty on torque wrench. Dear Mr. Armstrong, we have been advised by your fans of In Wheel Time of your issues concerning your warranty claim for a torque wrench made by Craftsman Tools.
Thank you very much.
We have received your claim and must respectfully decline your warranty claim due to abuse and misuse of this tool. Our investigation has revealed that you use this tool for more things than torquing your nuts. Furthermore, since you don't have a receipt or know where you bought the product, we want to point out that you don't have a leg to stand on. Since our company has been sold to Stanley Black & Decker and our tools are distributed by Lowe's, Ace Hardware, Amazon, Menards, Blaine's Farm and Fleet, Atwood's Ranch and Home, and Napa. Quote, we will honor all lifetime warranties no matter where the Craftsman hand tool was purchased. We ask that customers bring in the item and we'll replace it if we have the product. If we do not have the product, customers can call the customer care hotline, blah, blah, blah. Maureen Wallace, Lowe's. We know you've been torqued by this experience, but really your tool is so old, who would expect it to work? Furthermore, we have reports that you used your torque wrench on a Corvair, which voids the warranty. Very truly yours, sincerely, Craftsman Customer Service, with the phone number. Carbon copy, Dewey, Cheatham and Howe, attorneys at law. P.S. These tools should be used safely by professionals. Perhaps you should stick with Fisher Price and Woodshop.
Thank you, George Skelton.
And there is a picture of me
in
Woodshop at Westbury High School. So
how do you spell?
So along with this letter, we got a replacement tool from our friends at Pittsburgh Pro and George Skelton. And I wanted to thank you and tell you how much I appreciate this, along with your concern and delivering my actual feelings about Craftsman tools. And thank you for a real, true replacement, because it says right on here, lifetime warranty, and there it is right there, lifetime warranty in the yellow.
Did George send you the receipt? George, you got to send him to the receipt. Thanks, George Skelton. And if you guys don't know, George is a friend of the show. He's actually the one who helped us put together the Betty Skelton Corvette show a couple of months ago.
You know,
that's funny.
George and I met each other in grade school. So it's a lifetime friend and obviously now a part of the show.
Yeah, absolutely a part of the show.
Yeah, so I know that he's at home enjoying all of this right now.
He's rolling on the floor laughing hysterically.
I wish you could have found you one of them that's it's not the click type, the one that was before that, where the gauge.
The bar?
the bar.
The bar type, yeah. Yeah, George says, you're welcome. It was $21 at Harbor Freight. Hey, Greg Phillips, how are you?
Oh, my God. Well, so at any rate, I just thought that it was worthy of sharing that with
A whole
everybody.
segment.
A whole segment. So
That's fine.
coming up, we have This Week in Automotive History and our news segment, if we can get through it. Stay tuned.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
I wanted to be sure and tell you about a big event tonight. It's the Labor Day Classic presented by the NASCAR Weekly Series and Advance Auto Parts and Texas Short Track Racing Series, going to be at Houston Motorsports Park. Gates open at 5. The commemorative Air Force flyover is at 6, and then the green flag waves right after that. It's up at Houston Motorsports Park off of North Lake Houston Parkway. Adults $15, kids $5, $1 beer, $1 hot dogs, and $1 Cokes. You can't go wrong. It's a great night of entertainment. Here we are on Labor Day weekend. Everybody looking for something to do. Mask up. They got hand sanitizer there. Everybody's all spread out in the stands. And I think it's about as safe as you can be. It's just as safe as going to H-E-B or the grocery store. So I would really think that you enjoy it, and I encourage you to give it a shot. Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild-to-wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truckworks team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckworks.com. If you're a member of a car, truck, or Jeep club, we'd like to put your bunch in our car club spotlight. All you have to do is shoot us an email with the contact information to info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for This Week in Auto History, and we always enjoy Conrad's bit in this. Oh, sorry. I
Turn
guess
my mic on. It works a lot better.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
So this week in 1885, the world's first motorcycle was patented by Gottlieb Daimler from Daimler-Benz.
I had no clue.
Well, he was not Daimler-Benz at the time, but yeah, he made the first
I had a very
motorcycle.
good friend of mine by the name of Gottlieb. His name was Dick Gottlieb. He was a big advertising man here in town. He was also a city councilman for decades and actually run for mayor and lost to Tootsie.
That was before my time. In 1898, Henry Ford patented a carburetor for gas vapor engines.
Gas
or vapor engines.
Oh, okay.
So whether it was gasoline or if it was compressed natural gas, he patented the carburetor. In 1899, a Stanley steamer became the first car to reach the summit of Mount Washington, New Hampshire. The steamers not only climbed the mountains faster, but they often beat the larger gasoline-powered racers of the day. And in 1906, a Stanley steamer would break the world record for the fastest standing mile at 127 miles an hour. Can you imagine in 1906 going 127 on a wood wheel vehicle? Not me.
With a steam engine going.
Yeah. Well, no, by that time it was going.
I'm sure that wasn't a Cleveland steam. Never mind.
No. In 1903, a Packard automobile completed a 52-day journey from San Francisco to New York on its first cross-country tour.
How many days did that take?
52 days.
Oh, my God. I need to take off work for a few days. I'm going to do this thing, going to go cross-country.
And to this day, people are still leaving San Francisco and New York. In 1922, the famous Autodroma, an automobile racing track, was opened in Monza, Italy, and Formula One will be there this weekend.
Okay.
So in 1937, the Toyota Motor Company, originally a division of the Toyota Automatic Loom Works, which was a cloth production company, became a corporation all on its own in the automotive world. And then they eventually purchased Hino Motors, which still exists, but they build like large trucks. The Nippon Denso, which is an electronics firm in the automotive industry to this day, and Daihatsu Motor Company. You remember Daihatsu?
I do, yes.
Yeah, Mossy had the Daihatsu franchise out on Katy Freeway.
Some of the ugliest cars I think I've ever known.
Yeah. And
they made a little truck too, didn't they?
Well, they still make the little truck because you see Daihatsu as a brand name at the golf courses all the time.
Ah, okay.
And Dutch Holland in Baytown, Oldsmobile had Daihatsu, which was the weirdest thing. In 1945, a pale green Super 6 coupe rolled off the Hudson assembly line, which is the first consumer-built automobile after World War II.
Really? Hudson did?
Hudson. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then in 1989, the federal government passed new car safety legislation requiring all new manufactured vehicles to have an airbag on the driver's side. Hence, thank you very much, Takata airbags.
Let's go back to Hudson.
Okay.
So I was about 6, 7 years old, and there was a little girl that went to school with me, kindergarten, first grade, second grade. And her mother lived around the corner. They lived around the corner.
You were 7 years old and still in kindergarten?
Probably. And so if I needed a ride to school, I'd walk over to her house, and her mother had this bug-looking thing called a Hudson Hornet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, how embarrassing. It had like a sofa in the back of it.
Yeah, but Hudson was quite the dominant force in NASCAR back in the early 50s.
What an ugly car.
And then if you remember the cartoon movie Cars, Doc, which was the voiceover was Paul Newman, was actually a Hudson Hornet. Okay. And in 1989, Alexis they sold their first vehicle in 1989 here in the United States. And then also, I'm done. Thank you. I'm getting the hurry up, so go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Time now. I need to get
nice clothes.
I need to, yeah, exactly. I need to get a couple of automotive stories in. General Motors is recalling more than 7,000 2020 Chevrolet Corvettes because the vehicle can be driven with the front trunk lid unlatched, creating the possibility of the hood flipping open.
You know, it's called a frunk.
The recall prompted General Motors to place a stop delivery order on the 2020s, according to NHTSA. If drivers ignore vehicle warnings that the hood is not latched, wind can open the unlatched hood. The opened hood could obstruct the driver's view.
You think?
Increasing the risk of a crash. GM spokesman Dan Flores says dealers will make the repair before selling any more 2020 Corvettes. Thank you very much.
Or any less.
Kia Motors and Hyundai are recalling more than 600,000 vehicles because of the possibility of leaking brake fluid that can cause a thermal event. The recall U.S. vehicles are Optima sedans from 2013 to 15.
Yowzers.
Kia Sorento crossovers from 14 and 15, and the Hyundai Santa Fe Sport crossovers from 13 to 15. Brake fluid can leak into the hydraulic electronic control unit, which could cause an electrical short over time, and that could lead to a thermal event. And the ongoing saga of Mr. Gosen.
Oh, I had that one.
Still
too.
there.
Well, no, he's fine.
A federal judge on Friday ruled that 2 Massachusetts men can be legally extradited to Japan to face charges they helped former Nissan Motor Company chairman Carlos Ghosn flee the country in a box and on a private jet. U.S. Magistrate Judge Donald Cabell in Boston rejected the arguments against extradition by U.S. Army Special Forces veteran Michael Taylor and his son Peter Taylor and certified the case for the U.S. Secretary of State to evaluate. The final decision on whether the Taylors are sent back to Japan will rest on the U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Still, the Washington lobbying campaign might be a long shot. Any extradition request that goes before a judge has already been vetted by officials in the State Department and the Justice Department, who have determined it does comply with the U.S. treaty.
You heard,
sayonara, brother. You're going to the clink.
You heard
in Japan.
Ghosn got away. The guys that got him out are going to probably get extradited, and then
no, they're going to.
And then Greg Kelly, who was the financial manager of Nissan at the time, he's going to be prosecuted in Japan because he didn't get away.
Bad, bad boys. You're on the weekly In Wheel Time Car Show. Back after a quick break.